Responsorial hymn today, beautifully sung by Mr. Guzek and Mrs. Menzie. Thank you both very much. It will show us the path of life. The path of life. Well, if we're on a path, that means we're taking a hike, doesn't it? The scriptures are filled with many hikes. Abraham has to hike all the way from what's now modern-day Iraq all the way to modern-day Israel with a side hike to Egypt and back. That took a long time. The most famous trek in the scriptures, of course, have to be the 40 years Moses and the Israelites took hiking all across the Sinai desert. Yes, there are hikes in the scriptures, but this particular hike, the walk to Emmaus, is a very special one, because on this hike, the Lord appears to these two gentlemen. We know one of their names, Cleopas. He appears to them, and their hearts are burning. And he explains to them the scriptures. So as the walk goes on, they learn more and more about this Jesus, who this Jesus is, why he came, and what he means for them. And it's finally resolved at the end when they recognize Jesus in the breaking of the bread. Well, in the course of this lockdown, one of the ways, in fact, one of the few ways we've been able to get out of the house, aside from buying food and maybe going to the pharmacy, is to take walks. I know that. I look out my rectory window and you see people walking around the grounds of the parish. You see people walking down 14 Mile Road. I've taken some very long hikes out at Stony Creek and out in Ann Arbor and other metro parks, and it's been a good experience to get out and breathe the fresh air and see God in the beautiful nature that he has created, see the early flowers of spring start to bloom, seeing the bushes start to turn a little bit green. It's nice to take those long walks. But my challenge for you today is to make that walk an Emmaus walk. Yes. Make that hike, whether it's you're going through the neighborhood, or whether you're going to Metro Beach, or whether you are heading up to Stony Creek, wherever you go for your walk, make it an Emmaus walk. Now, how do we make it an Emmaus walk? Well, it's pretty easy. You pray. You pray as you walk. And when I was on my sabbatical in Rome 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago now, I remember getting up in the morning very early to do the station churches for 40 straight days of Lent. There's a different church where Mass is celebrated. And my goal was to walk all the way. And some of these churches were very far away. But to make that walk, and as I walked, I would pray my rosary as I walked through the streets of Rome. Now, Rome is a very busy and very noisy city. But if you're up before dawn, it's very quiet, and you actually hear the birds sing. And it's a very nice place to pray as you're walking to a different church every day for the celebration of the Mass. Well, as we've gone into this time today, I've continued that tradition of praying as I'm hiking, and I can show you how I do it, but you can take any variation of it as you wish. Most of you, of course, have one of these. It's one of this is a particular iPhone. I know there's different varieties of it, different companies, but they all do the same thing. You can go on one of these, and you can Google rosary, and you can find lots and lots of sites where you can connect to the rosary. I particularly enjoy this. It's called the Mike and Kate Rosary Series, but you can take any series you like. And then these headsets that I stole from Tech, and you put them on, and you click on the rosary you want to play. Then you tuck this probably inside your pocket. So I'm just going to put it here as if it was in my pocket. You take your rosary out as you walk, and then you take your walking stick, and off you go. Off you go through the woods, and off you go through the fields, praying the rosary. If it's a long hike, like the one I did last Tuesday, you can end up doing all 20 mysteries. This turns your walk into more than just a time for exercising the body. It gives you a time to exercise the soul and spend some time thinking about the mysteries of Christ's life and also the life of the Virgin Mary, who points the way to Christ. And as you pray, you'll find that the things you see around you will inspire you more to think about God's presence around us. If you want to do the Divine Mercy chaplet, that's fine too. Or if you want to do the chaplet to the St. Michael the Archangel, or if you want to do the litany to the Sacred Heart of Mary, or if you want to do the litany to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, there's all kinds of things you can do. Or you can go on sites that will read to you the scriptures. One time I found this site where person will literally read the entire Gospel of St. Mark. That's going to be a long walk. But again, you're turning your walk into a beautiful spiritual exercise. So, if you're willing to take that rosary or say that chaplet, you're willing to get that headset on and take that stick, then I can honestly say, with the best of intentions, go take a hike.